Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Let me tell you something today that could change everything for you. There's a thin line, razor thin, that separates winners from losers. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even opportunity. One of the greatest differences between winners and losers is simple but powerful. Winners take responsibility, while losers blame others. Responsibility is the price of greatness. It's the act of standing up, looking in the mirror and saying, if something's going to change, it has to start with me. Winners don't waste their energy pointing fingers or making excuses. They don't sit around talking about who's at fault or why the world is unfair. They know life isn't always fair, but they also know that blaming others doesn't change the outcome. Taking responsibility does. Losers, on the other hand, are experts in the blame game. Every setback becomes someone else's fault. The boss didn't like them, the market was down, the government didn't do enough, their parents didn't raise them right. It's always something outside of their control. The more they blame, the weaker they become. Blame robs you of your power. Every time you blame someone else, you give away a little more of your control over your own life. Winners understand that control is essential. Even if something wasn't their fault, they accept responsibility for how they respond. They say, this is my life, and I'm in charge of what I do with it. They focus on solutions, not problems. They focus on actions, not excuses. When something goes wrong, they ask, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? That mindset keeps them moving forward, while others are stuck in a cycle of anger, bitterness, and regret. Taking responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything. It's about owning your choices, your attitude, and your actions. Winners know they can't control the weather, but they can carry an umbrella. They can't control the economy, but they can sharpen their skills. They can't control how other people behave, but they can control their own reactions. Winners refuse to be victims. They refuse to let circumstances define them. Instead, they define themselves by their ability to adapt, to overcome, and to keep growing. When you start taking full responsibility, everything changes. You stop waiting for a lucky break and start creating your own opportunities. You stop wishing and start working. You stop complaining and start building. Responsibility turns you from a passive observer into an active participant in your own life. It turns dreams into goals, and goals into achievements. The truth is, life will throw challenges at everyone. Winners and losers face the same storms, the same losses, the same frustrations. The difference isn't what happens to them, the difference is how they respond. Winners rise because they refuse to give their power away. They know that taking responsibility is tough, but living a life of excuses is even tougher. You can't change the past, but you can own your future. It all begins with one decision: to stop blaming and start building. Responsibility is not a burden, it's the key to freedom. Winners know it. Losers never will. One of the defining traits of winners is their deep commitment to lifelong learning. Winners understand that growth doesn't stop when school ends. It doesn't stop after getting a degree or landing a good job. For winners, learning is a daily habit, a lifelong pursuit, and a personal responsibility. They are always reading, studying, asking questions, and looking for ways to sharpen their minds and improve their skills. Winners know that the world is constantly changing, and if they aren't growing, they're falling behind. Losers, on the other hand, think they already know enough. They settle. They become comfortable with what they learned years ago and assume that's all they'll ever need. Instead of seeking new knowledge, they defend their ignorance. They resist change. They act like experts even when their results say otherwise. This mindset of stagnation slowly erodes their potential. Life keeps moving, but they stay still. Over time, their skills become outdated, their thinking becomes rigid, and their opportunities dry up. Winners have a very different philosophy. They treat learning as an investment, not an expense. They know that every new book they read, every seminar they attend, every new idea they explore adds a tool to their toolbox. They are humble enough to admit they don't know everything and wise enough to do something about it. Winners don't see learning as a sign of weakness. They see it as a sign of strength. They know that the more they learn, the more valuable they become to themselves, to their families, to their businesses, and to the world. The habit of lifelong learning also keeps winners flexible and adaptable. When technology changes, they learn it. When the economy shifts, they study it. When a new opportunity arises, they have the skills and knowledge to seize it. They aren't afraid of change, they welcome it, because they know they have the tools to navigate it. Losers, by contrast, fear change. They cling to what they know, even when it's no longer working. They would rather be right and stay stuck than admit they need to learn something new. Learning doesn't always have to be formal. Winners learn from books, podcasts, conversations, experiences, mistakes, mentors, and even their competitors. They're curious about how things work and why people succeed. They are constantly gathering ideas, testing them, and applying them. It's not about sitting in a classroom, it's about having a mindset that says, there's always more to learn, and I'm excited to grow. Every day, winners ask themselves better questions. What can I do today to be better than yesterday? What skill can I develop? What new idea can I explore? Meanwhile, losers spend their days defending what they already know and resenting anyone who challenges them. In the end, the choice is simple. You can continue learning and growing, expanding your opportunities and shaping your future. Or you can stand still, watching the world pass you by, wondering why things never seem to change. Winners choose the first path every single day, and that's why they keep winning. The ability to practice discipline is one of the clearest things that separates winners from losers. Winners know that if you only act when you feel like it, you will rarely accomplish anything worthwhile. They understand that emotions are fleeting, but discipline builds the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Winners show up whether they're motivated or not. They get up early when they're tired. They work on their goals when it's boring. They follow through on their commitments even when no one is watching. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Losers, however, let their feelings run the show. If they don't feel inspired, they don't act. If they don't feel excited, they don't try. If they feel tired, they quit. Their lives are ruled by emotions, and because emotions are unpredictable, so are their results. One day they're motivated, the next day they're defeated. They start projects but rarely finish. They talk about big dreams but never lay the daily bricks needed to build them. Their moods dictate their destiny, and as a result, their lives stay small and scattered. Winners have made peace with the fact that discipline often feels uncomfortable. They don't expect the path to success to be easy or always enjoyable. They understand that greatness requires sacrifice. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's going to the gym when you'd rather stay in bed. It's making the extra sales call after you've been told no all day. It's studying when your friends are out partying. Discipline means you act based on your values and your goals, not based on temporary emotions. While losers wait for the perfect moment, winners create it. They understand that action leads to motivation, not the other way around. Winners don't sit around hoping to feel ready. They get started, and as they move forward, momentum builds. Even small disciplined actions repeated daily compound into extraordinary results over time. The magic is not in one huge, heroic effort. It's in the small, seemingly insignificant choices made consistently. Winners also build routines that support their discipline. They set priorities, plan their days, and remove distractions. They don't rely on willpower alone. They design environments that make success easier and failure harder. They know that the real battle is won long before the moment of decision. It's won in their preparation, in their mindset, and in their habits. Losers, by contrast, look for shortcuts. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. They chase quick fixes and instant gratification. But there are no shortcuts to lasting success. The price must be paid, and discipline is the currency. The truth is, both winners and losers feel the same emotions. They both experience doubt, boredom, frustration, and temptation. The difference is that winners don't let those feelings dictate their actions. They choose discipline over comfort. They choose consistency over convenience. And in the end, that choice makes all the difference. The secret to success isn't hidden in some grand event or sudden breakthrough. It's found in the quiet, often unnoticed habits that winners build day after day. Winners understand that their lives are shaped not by the big things they do once in a while, but by the small things they do consistently. They know that good habits are the foundation of a great life. They intentionally build habits that serve their goals, protect their energy, and strengthen their character. They treat their habits with the seriousness they deserve, because they know that what you do daily determines what you become permanently. Losers, by contrast, underestimate the power of small actions. They indulge in bad habits because they believe, wrongly, that little things don't matter. One missed workout doesn't seem like a big deal. One day wasted scrolling through social media feels harmless. One careless decision doesn't look dangerous, but it is. Small errors in judgment, repeated daily, lead to disaster just as surely as small disciplines, repeated daily, lead to success. Losers fail to see the compound effect at work, that every action is a vote for the person they are becoming. Winners are strategic about their habits. They design their routines to align with their vision. If they want to be healthy, they build habits around exercise, nutrition, and rest. If they want to be wealthy, they build habits around saving, investing, and learning. They automate good choices so they don't have to rely on willpower every moment of the day. Winners realize that excellence is not an act but a habit. They build systems that make it easier to succeed and harder to fail at the same time. Winners guard themselves fiercely against bad habits. They know that a bad habit doesn't just cost time or energy, it shapes identity. Winners are quick to correct themselves when they slip. They don't allow bad habits to take root and grow. They stay vigilant because they understand that every habit either pulls them closer to their dreams or pushes them further away. There is no neutral ground. Losers often don't realize they are building habits to just the wrong ones. Skipping goals becomes a habit. Making excuses becomes a habit. Seeking comfort over challenge becomes a habit. Every day they strengthen the chains that hold them back, often without noticing. By the time they realize the damage, the bad habits are deeply ingrained, and changing feels overwhelming. But the truth is, the only way out is the same way in small daily choices, repeated consistently over time. Both winners and losers are creatures of habit. The difference is not whether you build habits, but which habits you choose to build. Winners choose habits that empower them, habits that discipline the body and sharpen the mind. Losers, knowingly or not, choose habits that weaken their resolve and drain their potential in the end. Success is not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. And you become that person by the habits you choose, one day at a time. Every journey worth taking is filled with obstacles, disappointments, and setbacks. Winners understand this truth deep in their bones. They don't expect the path to success to be smooth or easy. Instead, they expect difficulties, and they prepare their minds in advance to persist no matter what. Winners know that setbacks are not a signal to stop. They are a test to see who deserves the reward on the other side. Persistence is the price you pay for progress. Winners are willing to pay that price over and over until they reach their destination. Losers, on the other hand, treat setbacks as permission to quit. At the first sign of difficulty, they retreat. At the first no, they give up. At the first disappointment, they lower their expectations. They believe that obstacles mean they are on the wrong path, when in fact, obstacles often mean they are on the right one. Growth demands resistance. Success demands resilience. Losers quit because they think failure is final. Winners persist because they know failure is simply feedback, a stepping stone on the way to mastery. Persistence is not about being stubborn for the sake of it. It's about having a vision so strong that temporary pain does not shake your long-term purpose. Winners are fueled by a why that is bigger than the hardship in front of them. They have learned that persistence builds strength, endurance, and character. Every time they push through discomfort, they grow a little more. Every time they stand firm after a defeat, they become tougher, wiser, and closer to victory. Winners also understand that most people quit too soon. They know that success often lies just beyond the moment of greatest frustration. It's darkest before dawn. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lacked the grit to keep going. Winners are willing to do what others won't. Stay in the game a little longer. Push through the tough days. Believe when it's easier to doubt. That extra effort, that extra persistence, makes all the difference in the end. Losers often justify quitting by telling themselves they're being realistic. They disguise fear as wisdom, but true realism accepts that difficulties are part of the deal. True wisdom knows that quitting guarantees failure, while persistence keeps the door open for success. Winners refuse to quit because they believe that every setback carries within it the seeds of an even greater comeback. They are patient with the process, but impatient with excuses. The truth is, everyone faces moments where giving up feels easier. Winners feel it too, the discouragement, the exhaustion, the doubt, but they choose to keep moving forward, even if it's only one small step at a time. They know that persistence isn't just about stamina. It's about faith that the effort will be worth it, even when the reward isn't visible yet. In the end, it's not the smartest or the strongest who win. It's the ones who refuse to quit. Persistence beats resistance every single time.